Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And a good morning to you. It is Veterans Day, Monday, November 11th, here on ON Radio and up and down the East Coast and in the United States. I'm Joe Callahan. That's Dave Richards right over there. Good morning, Dave.
Well, what do you know?
And we're being joined on the phone by Woonsocket City Councilor Dan Gendron.
Dan.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Dave. Good
You're on the
morning,
radio. Careful what you say.
Joe. I always am.
Yeah. Dan,
Thanks for joining us this morning.
is your birthday on the 10th or the 11th? People have been wondering about this. I've been
My
wondering about
birthday
this.
was yesterday, the 10th.
So I had it right, but somebody said it was the 11th, and I better put it in the birthday book on the 11th. So I put it in both places, figuring I'd get it right once.
No, I share the birthday with the Marines.
There you go.
All
All
right,
right. Well,
perfect.
happy birthday yesterday. Now,
Thank you.
we have to tell the folks at the Elks this thing, because the Elks are the one that told me that your birthday's on the 11th, and they've got it listed in the
They're wrong.
they've got it listed in the monthly newsletter as your birthday being on the 11th. You
Oh,
see
well,
where
I'll have
the
to-
confusion
I'll have to correct
started?
that.
I thought it was an authoritative source, but whatever.
All right, we're also being
Dave,
joined at the
Dave,
coffee.
you should know.
What's that,
Dave,
Dave?
you should know the authoritative source is always WOON.
Oh, aren't you sweet? Oh, my goodness. That's
Give
great.
him an extra buck, Dave, okay?
There you go,
All right.
yeah.
We're being joined at the coffee and table by Melissa Murray. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning, everyone.
All right.
Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, Dan. Happy belated.
And
Thank you.
Dan, congratulations on being reelected to the Woonsocket City Council.
Thank you very much.
So you must be happy and excited about that.
Well, I'm most happy that it's over, and
Sounds like Melissa.
now we can
I hear that.
get back to work. Yes.
Yeah, Melissa echoed the same sentiments last week. Well, boy, I'm sure glad that baloney is over with. My goodness me, it's a shame that we have to go through all that every couple of years, but
Every other year.
yeah.
Yay.
Well, what are you going to do?
Congratulations to you, Melissa.
Thank you. Likewise.
All right. Speaking about getting right back to work, there's a special meeting for the Woonsocket City Council
Tomorrow night.
That is tomorrow at 4:30 in the afternoon. What are the highlights of that, in your opinion, Dan?
Aren't you,
Well, there's
aren't you
two
finishing
things.
up some work from the previous meeting?
We are, and so what we're doing is, at the previous meeting, I had requested this work session because we have two things before us that are just way too extensive and in depth to handle at a regular meeting, and one is an agreement to go out to purchase electricity, through a third-party vendor, and we need to get the specifics on how that's going to work, and it was not something to take up during the regular meeting. And then the other thing is the whole discussion regarding public self-storage at the plaza with Sears, in the Sears building. So both of those needed a lot
That
more
requires a
discussion.
rule change that's somewhat controversial, no?
Somewhat. Yes, very. So, and to be honest, when any developer comes forward and says they want to invest millions, I think we at least owe it to them to hear their plan and see what their vision is. And who knows, it could be far different than what we envision in our minds when they lay it out on paper. So that's why I think we owe them, anybody who wants to invest in Woonsocket, we owe them the time to listen to their plan.
I hear people, moaning the fact, oh no, not more self-storage. Oh, we already have enough, and blah 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 blah, and maybe we do, but maybe the market says no, we need more self-storage. I don't know. I haven't done any.
Well,
kind
that's
of,
the way I was
knowledge
thinking
into
of it,
this.
Joe. Dan, when I heard you guys debating this the last time, and I know that down in Providence, their city council has actually come up and said, no more self-storage. We've had it with it.
Okay.
Well, it's a use of especially an older property that has to be rehabilitated, that is financially viable and pretty much a sure moneymaker in the near term for people who own, say, an old building or something that hasn't been occupied in one way or another, because you don't have to have the human occupancy rules up there. You don't have to have water. You don't have to have sewerage and stuff like that. So we get that. But Dan, I always figured it this way. People with a lot of money are seldom stupid. If there's too many self-storages, they're the ones that are going to tell you that.
Exactly, and you hit it right on the head, Dave. So, if we have private investors looking to invest in a private property, that is not property owned by the city.
Mm-hmm.
It's some, and the argument that I hear, Dave and Joe and Melissa, is that we need something that brings foot traffic. We need something that brings traffic. And my whole thing is not to say I would love to see a supermarket there, which is what everyone wants, but we don't have the ability to force the property owner to bring in a supermarket.
Right.
I'm sure he would love to if the people with the money decided to do it. But the truth of the matter is that empty Sears building has also not produced any foot traffic or employees in the last 8.5 years.
Has it
So-
been that long? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it needs to be, something needs to be done. And I don't know, I'm not saying that self-storage is, it's not my dream that I woke up and said I'd love to have more self-storage, but
But if the
what's
market
vision?
bears it, well, okay.
And well, not only that, but I want to see what the vision is.
Yeah.
One of the plans that I heard is that the self-storage was going to be completely hidden and wouldn't be visible, and they would put a storefront in front of the self-storage. And I thought that was a unique way of tucking in a moneymaker, if you will, but supporting more storefronts in the front of the property. So but that's why we need to see it. I do not want to see the whole property turned into a self-storage venue. It's not at all what will promote more business on Diamond Hill Road, that's for sure.
Okay. Now, will they give you their entire package tonight?
It'll be tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, I'm sorry.
But I hope they do, because this is going to be a one and done.
Okay.
And this is theirs to lose, because if they can't sell it right now, I would say, based on what I'm hearing, they wouldn't have the votes.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on what I heard at the meeting, it doesn't sound like they would have the votes for the zone change. So it's up to them to change the minds of me and the rest of the council.
Okay.
So if I can just put my 2 cents in, because I haven't been able to talk on the radio for the last 6 months, and I have lots of feelings about this. And you are right. When you talk about self-storage in the back and a storefront in the front, that idea to me is more palatable. But we kind of have to dig a little deeper and think like, okay, the reason that we haven't reached our threshold, so to speak, and also who determines the threshold for self-storage, but the reason that there's so many self-storage units is because there isn't enough housing. Like, it's a direct fallout from the housing crisis. People are having to move in together because they can't find a place to live. Families are having to move in together, and they're needing self-storage. So, like, the answer to that is housing. But again, it's a private decision. It's a decision for the council to make. I don't envy you, but the reason it's so profitable is because we are in a housing crisis, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's also, I've heard it over and over, and I'm sure you've all heard it, that when you see, auto parts stores, pawn shops, and self-storages are all indications of a community's economic stature.
Correct.
Right?
Yep. And dollar stores, because we're a food desert, so
Yeah.
it's like symptomatic of the deeper problem, but it's not an easy.
So what do we do, though?
It's not an easy path.
No.
Yeah.
No, and do we not have auto parts repair stores because they don't have them in the richer communities because they all drive new cars? So
Right.
do we not support our residents? And if the self-storage, and you're right, Melissa, I mean, it's this consolidation of living quarters that's creating the need, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
the demand.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Is there only one company that's looking to put self-storage at the Sears building, or are there more than one, Dan?
No, there's just this one that we're hearing from tomorrow night. I will tell you, I'm one of the questions I have for the property owner is what else have you heard? I certainly don't. if he said to me, well, I've got 3 other proposals, one is for a supermarket, but it's not as lucrative, well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do a zone change to make you more money when there's other alternatives. But I don't know what that answer is. There may be no other alternatives.
Do you know off the top of your head, Dan, do they want to make it, like most self-storage units, 24/7? Do we want to have a 24/7 business up there?
I don't know their plan. I don't see. I've seen some 24/7 self-storage, and quite honestly, they don't. It's not like they have traffic in and out every 15 minutes, but it is the type of thing where people want access in the after hours. Now, if they do one of those rumors that I heard that it would be storefronts in the front, I don't think they could do 24/7 because it's going to be inside the building, and I don't know that they would leave the entire facility open, unlike the one that's at the higher end of Diamond Hill in the valley there. I don't know if those are 24/7, but those all have outside access.
Right. Okay. Well, I hope you get all your answers, all your questions answered tomorrow night, and we'll.
And here's the thing: as I've always tried to do, I don't make decisions on emotion. I make it on facts, and if they can't provide us with the facts, then they're looking for the change. We have no reason to do the change unless they convince a majority of the council that it's the right thing to do.
Well, I hope the other council.
It's in their hands.
I hope the other council members are thinking like you, and they're not going in just saying, with the mindset of no more self-storage. I don't care what they're going to say. I hope they all have an open mind tomorrow night.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Joe. Right, and thank you for saying it like that, because let's just say their proposal is we want to build a market basket in front of a self-storage. Well, like who wouldn't support that idea?
Well, right.
And I'm not saying that that's what I heard, but I'm just saying we don't know the plan. And the other thing is we heard that they're going to invest millions of dollars into rehabbing the facade of the rest of the plaza. But my question for tomorrow night is, which comes first?
Yeah.
You put in your self-storage and we don't ever see the upgrades, or can you assure us that you'll do the upgrades first and then do the self-storage simultaneously? But we need to elevate the level of those 2 plazas, in my mind.
Right. Okay. The other thing you talk about talking about purchase electricity, is this for the residents of Woonsocket to purchase electricity away from National Grid and go with a completely different company?
No, this is for the city's municipal use, so the street lights and the municipal buildings throughout the city. I believe it would include the school department as well, but I'm not positive if that's how it's written. But it would be one of these third-party vendors that would provide a discounted rate, but it's a whole mechanism that they want to use that correlates with hedge funds, and I don't understand it enough, and I said I need to understand, or again, I won't take a vote on something that I'm not understanding and comfortable with.
Understandable. All right. Since the election, Dan, have you had a chance to talk to Mayor Beauchamp?
I did. Wednesday, him and I got together. We had a very productive, I think, informative meeting. We were probably together for an hour and a half, and we both discussed our wants and the city's needs.
Yep.
And where we see the city going. And I think the one thing I can tell you is, as everyone knows, I supported John Ward through the election, and I would have thought a different way, because if I knew what John's plans were, I didn't know all of Chris's plans. But I will tell you, after speaking with him, I feel very comfortable that he is going to be focused on the success of the city as I, and I'm sure the rest of the council is. So we need to move beyond the LBH days and not look any longer at this division that is unnecessary and unproductive. And I think I reached a point with Chris where him and I will definitely have a good working relationship.
Excellent. All right, we're gonna let Dan go because he's gonna get back to work because he needs to get over. Hopefully, he can get over to the UVC Park for the Veterans Council for the Veterans Celebration at 11 o'clock this morning. So we're gonna let you get back to work, Dan. Okay?
All right. I thank you all, and have a good day. Thank you for giving me this time.
All right. Thanks for joining
See
us,
ya.
Dan.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Dan Genron, Woonsocket City Councilor, joining us for the first segment of the Coffee and program. More Coffee Ends coming your way. And let's see, comments, questions can be called in at 766-1240.
Hi, everybody. Dave Richards here at Coletta's Furniture, 598 Wood Avenue. When you walk through the door at 598 Wood Avenue and you turn right, it's the dining room gallery. Brad Coletta, tell us about what you have here.
Yeah, Dave, so what we have here is this area is all our dining room, from drop leaf table and 2 chairs for a small apartment if needed be, or a formal dining room with table and 12 chairs, shown with servers and the buffets. You can get benches with them, table, 4 chairs and bench, or you can switch it out for also more chairs. There's just a lot of different things going on, and you can get them all different colors.
So there's a lot of family gatherings coming up at this time of the year. So Brad Coletta, tell us, where should they come for great dining room sets?
Oh, absolutely, Coletta's Furniture. Everything's marked down now for the dining room season, so stop in and check out all our sales going on now.
To 598 Wood Avenue in Woonsocket.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
Blackstone Valley's ON Radio.
Hey, it's ON Radio's Cruisin' Bruce Palmer, and I'd love to have you join me every Saturday for the Saturday Block Party. We start at 4 o'clock when I open up the ON Music Vault for you to pick whatever you want to hear or send to somebody special. Yes, the good old radio request days are back. Join me for the Saturday Block Party, Saturdays from 4 until 7 on ON Radio and streaming online at Woonsocketradio.com.
Thanks, Bruce. Bruce Palmer here on ON Radio every Saturday from 4 to 7 with the ON Block Party. All right. It's Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray, and our thanks to Dan Genron, who joined us on the telephone for the first 15 minutes of the Coffee In program. So we're moving right along. Pretty happy about yesterday's Patriots victory over the Chicago Bears. 19-3 was the final score, and I'm sure Melissa Murray was right on the edge of her seat throughout the entire game yesterday between the Patriots and the Bears. Am I right in that assumption, Melissa?
Yeah.
Well, it was actually a very good game from our point of view. From the Bears' point of view, it was ugly.
Yeah,
So we're very happy with the Patriots' victory yesterday. Hey, that's two out of three wins in the last 3 games. So hey,
I'm sure it was very exciting.
it was.
I had a lot of cleaning and catching up to do, so I was rearranging my closet.
Well, that's far more important.
Very exciting stuff.
So we have an update on the story. This is from last week, maybe two weeks ago. Remember the man that was struck and killed on 95?
Yeah.
Up picking out the. It looked like he stopped his car because he saw money on the road, and he was out there picking it up. Mm-hmm. Turns out, no, he, according to Channel 10 and Channel 12, he had them and Providence Police. He had the money in the car, and now he gets into a car accident, and so now he gets out of the car with the money, and now starts running across the highway.
Oh,
Carrying the money. It's like a Flintstones bank robbery thing going on. Mm-hmm. And then he either dropped the money and then got hit by the car, or the other way around. Mm-hmm. Got hit by the car and then dropped the money.
and there was money all over the road.
And that's why there's money all over the
Yeah.
road. And
Yeah.
now other people are stopping and picking up. I don't know how much. I don't know what kind of bills they were.
Right.
And then the Providence Police had to get out there. So now it just adds more questions of where did this money come from? Why were you making a run for it on foot? Although they do say it wasn't a car accident. So that just makes it seem like the money was not gotten the correct way, and that he didn't want to get. I still want to keep the money, but I don't want to get caught at whatever I have done.
Yeah. Running away on foot
So no, on the highway.
on the highway, not a great idea. But also, nobody ever gets away these days. You're just not.
So,
Especially not with a big bag of money that's falling out behind you, leaving
no.
a little trail of.
You look for a silver lining in the story, and well, who's dropping money out of cars, out of vehicles on the highway? And I go, was it one of those armored cars? They really shouldn't, because they've got unbelievable security.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad to hear it wasn't that kind of a situation. Also glad to hear it wasn't someone's life savings that they had in the back of their car, and that was just flew out the window, and people were picking it up on the highway. But it makes you wonder, where did the money come from, and why was he? Is it so bad that he had to make a run for it on foot?
Right.
Across the highway. So there's just more questions.
Yeah, my
to this,
first thought was
story.
like, is it a one of those, trucks that transports money around in an armored car? But then
Yeah.
that doesn't really make sense unless it was like a really, really bad accident, or somebody who it was, I don't know, making a
don't know.
deposit or something. But
We'll see if the province police give out more details as they continue their investigation. All right, I wanted to run this theory by you, Melissa. Now that the election's been just about a week, that it's been over, on the national level,
yep,
should the Democrats have done something differently? And when I say done something differently, so Joe Biden steps down, says he's not running, immediately appoints that Kamala Harris should be the nominee.
yep,
She gets the nomination.
correct.
In retrospect, should that not have been done? Hold on. Should they have gone to the convention and let the delegates slug it out, nominate people, and then vote at the Democratic convention for a nominee? It's a lot to go.
It
here.
is. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
I think now that the Democrats have lost the election, there's been a lot of coulda, shoulda, woulda,
Right.
hindsight.
Oh yeah.
Joe Biden should have stepped down earlier.
I've heard that. Yeah. 107 days was not enough time to get her message out. I don't agree with that, but
I don't know that I agree with that either. I don't know that. I don't know that anyone else could have garnered more support.
I don't know.
I don't think we could ever know the answers to these questions. It would have been nice if Biden had stepped down earlier and there could have been a real vetting of multiple candidates.
Yeah, to see if anyone else wanted to step up and say, no, I think I would do a better job.
Yeah, I mean, the honest truth, I don't think this country was ready to elect a woman.
That's, I was saying that to my daughter the other day, too. I said,
really-
there's still a segment of the population
Yep.
that's just going to say,
It's painful for me to say.
I'm just not electing
Yeah,
a
it's
woman.
painful for me to say and admit and acknowledge, but I
Yeah.
think that is the reality. And
And I don't know how long we have to go before we get past all that. Another generation?
who knows?
Right.
To be honest, after Hillary lost, I thought, oh, you know what? This is just not going to be in my lifetime. And I'm not that old. Well, I mean, I'm
I
old-ish.
still think it will be
but,
in our lifetime, Melissa.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
do.
just feeling a little certain ways because of the recent election. But, and then there are some people who posed, well, if Biden would have stayed in, he would have won. I don't know that to be
Well,
true
you
either.
You don't know that, right?
We could have done a lot better with our messaging. I just think that the messaging that the Democrats put out there did not resonate with people who are hurting right now. And I say that as a lifelong Democrat, but we didn't do a good job with messaging on the national level, because I think on local levels and on state levels, a lot of Democrats did get elected, including myself. But, my messaging was much different. I really focused on the things that not only that I'm working on, but that, are affecting people right now. I didn't talk about infrastructure, like even despite the fact that we have a huge, huge infrastructure problem here in the state right now. That's just not what my constituents are thinking about. So,
All right.
Yeah,
it's just a theory I came up with
it
over the
is.
weekend. I'm like,
Yep.
I wonder if things would have been different
everybody's thinking it
if
across the board. Yeah.
if they had more of a, you can call it a fight or whatever you want, but more of a discussion at their convention instead of just saying,
Maybe,
oh yeah,
maybe.
Kamala Harris is our person. And
I mean,
and I
folks-
understand why they did it.
Yeah.
We got to look unified. We can't look split. If we look split, we'll
Right.
never win.
Correct,
And I
correct.
understand that part. And you're too young, but I remember Kennedy Carter in 1980, and they were battling it out. to see who would be
Yeah,
the nominee
yeah,
at the Democratic convention. It's like, I thought this was what was going to happen again this time, but it didn't happen this
I
time.
vaguely remember that. I was 6.
Okay. Probably not really paying attention to the
No, but I
politics
do
at that time.
remember. No, but my mom was, and I
Okay.
remember her watching
Watching it every
television.
night?
Yes,
Yes, it was
yes. And I didn't understand why it was big, but her
Yeah.
just being concerned about it.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, this is looking way down. In 4 years now, who's the next big Democrat? Is it Harris again? My daughter tells me there's a Kennedy that's going to be 35 in 4 years. His name is Edwin. I'm sorry. He is a Kennedy, yes, but his name is Edwin Schlossberg. One of those married into the Kennedy
Yep.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like, because Caroline Kennedy is his mother. So he looks a lot like JFK Jr. She showed me pictures. I'm like, wow.
Okay, I'm gonna have to Google this.
I'm like,
now.
oh my gosh.
I don't know if at that point even that Americans are thinking, that they don't want somebody who's lived a privileged life that can't relate to them. I don't know that that's the answer. And I think that's part of the problem too, right?
I told that to my daughter. I said, Trump aside, I said, what has he done? Well, he writes political columns. I said, okay, it is so difficult to get elected president if you have not done anything else. No senator, no Congress, no mayor, anything. No, he hasn't done anything. I'm like,
not just because of the experience, but
that
also
is just
because of the
tough.
relationships that you're able and connections
form.
that you're able
Yeah.
to build. But I think it's too soon to tell. I don't know what's going to happen. Somebody could emerge completely different.
you're right.
You know,
You're right.
that is just like the every person, and who knows? Who knows what the temperature will be at that point too, right? So,
That's right. I mean, a million things can happen.
Yeah, yeah.
In the next 4 years, so we don't know. Speaking of the local stuff, Dan McKee's a little. He's disappointed with the outcome, obviously, because he's a Democrat.
Yeah.
But he's also concerned about the federal funding for the Washington Bridge.
Oh yes.
Now that we have a new president-elect,
we should be.
Is everything going to be okay? Are we still going to get the money that they said we were going to get the money? Now the state's congressional delegation says they're working to make sure that the funding that's already been committed remains on track.
I hope so.
And I hope they can do it.
I hope so.
And the money isn't taken away and say, well, have a bake sale. Figure it out on your own. You can't have the money anymore.
Yeah, we don't have the money.
Obviously, we don't have the money. The billions of
can
dollars
tell you that
this is
right now.
costing. So,
Yeah.
So far everything's okay and everything's on track. But I'm sure Jack Reed and Sheldon Whitehouse and Gabe Amo and Seth Magaziner, even though it's not in Seth's backyard, the four of them have got to be united on this.
Absolutely.
To keep the
Yeah,
money
absolutely.
coming in. Okay.
Yep.
Other things going on. The state of Rhode Island has offered that land in Providence to Hasbro for $1.
For $1. That did not come from the legislature. That came from the commission, of
Yes.
course.
And I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah, I do
try
too.
to keep them here, and they don't want them to leave Rhode Island. But nothing from Hasbro's been so silent
Yes.
lately.
Which means that they're weighing their options and negotiating with other folks, right?
makes them go.
That's the reality.
We don't know. We're not in on it, but makes them think they go back to the people in Boston and say, take a look at what they're offering us down in Rhode Island. You want to give us? What can you do? So we'll have to see. They haven't. They're not in any rush, I guess.
Yeah,
Not to move on. So okay, but that's the latest. They offer them all this great land. They want to offer them these great buildings, basically for nothing. And so that's basically what we can do for you if you please stay here in the state. So we shall see what goes from there.
I'd be interested to learn how many people in Hasbro actually live in Rhode Island, how many work from home. These are the questions that I think that we probably would be asking them if this was before the General Assembly, but I don't have the answers to those questions, unfortunately.
All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program, and more coming your way. It's time for the forecast, being brought to you by Ready Whip.
Gradual clearing today with a high near 66 degrees, breezy from the west up to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies, overnight low of 44. Tuesday's weather, sunshine and 51. Wednesday, sunshine and 46. Thursday, sunny skies and a high of 44 degrees for the day. Friday, mostly sunny and 52. Saturday, mostly sunny and 56. And next Sunday, mostly sunny skies, high near 58.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street under partly sunny skies, we've got 57 degrees, topping off a dessert or swirling it into hot cocoa. Ready Whip is here to whip up some holiday cheer. Ready Whip is made with real cream, so pick up a can or two. Ready Whip.
When you visit the Menard Locature Funeral Home's website, you'll find a wealth of important information, including frequently asked questions about the various options of pre-planning funeral etiquette, visitation, personal help to help the family, and many others. Remember, pre-planning is safe and helpful to family members who may be overwhelmed with details and responsibilities. It also assures that the deceased's final wishes are met. Their website will also feature several photos of their two beautiful and classic funeral homes at 127 Carrington Avenue, Woonsocket, and 71 Central Street, Manville. You'll be treated with courtesy and understanding. Their main phone number is 762-1825. Menard Locature Funeral Homes.
What does it mean to be owned by your customers? It means we don't answer to a headquarters in New York or a board of directors in Switzerland. It means we answer to a teacher in Woonsocket, a small business owner in Greenville, a contractor in Warwick. Our customers are our owners. Our owners are our customers. Come join us. Navigant Credit Union.
Hi, this is Wendy Pyrus from Community Care Alliance. This November 23rd, mark your calendars for a special event that embodies the true spirit of the holiday season. Join us right here on ON Radio from 6 to 11 a.m. for the Holiday for Kids Radioathon. We have stories to share and holiday splendor to get you in the spirit. Don't miss this chance to make an impact on a child's life and join in on the holiday cheer. 100% of the proceeds raised will provide local children and teens we serve with the magic of the holiday season. Tune in on November 23rd from 6 to 11 a.m.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
It's Coffee In on ON. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray. Thank you for joining us this morning on this Veterans Day. Well, so it looks like Dominic Ruggiero will be the president again.
That is correct.
State Senate. The vote was 23-9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's pretty overwhelming right there.
It was.
He was challenged by Cumberland Senator Ryan Pearson. And so there we go. So that's a done deal. Is that a done deal, or is it going to be voted on again?
So it's a done deal for the nomination. So when we caucused, and it was one of the more contentious and spirited caucuses that I have attended, where there were two people vying for the presidency. So at the caucus, we nominate the president, Senate president, which is actually going to be voted on when we get sworn in, because the Republicans will vote on the president too. The president represents everyone, but the Democrats will nominate, because we're primarily a Democratic Senate, and then we nominate and elect our majority leader, which we did, Valerie Lawson. So there was no contention there. Overwhelmingly, everyone voted to.
That was 32-1. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And she actually came in the same year as I did. We're relatively young-ish Senate, where, a lot of the folks that have been there for decades are no longer there. There's only a few left. Roger Picard left, so a lot of the folks that have been there, and you're considered a seasoned senator when you've been there for 3 terms, is usually like, typically you'd still be new. But
okay,
I'm like right there in the middle. We have a lot of new folks and a lot of younger folks, which is good.
Yeah.
So.
Alrighty.
I think it's good.
So we up just over the border in Massachusetts, and it's been happening a lot in Massachusetts, in Rhode Island too. But brush fires.
Yeah.
In Bellingham, one was spotted at 8 a.m. on Sunday. They reported the fire crews went to 6 Mill Street. Report of a brush fire. Mendon Fire came down to help. The Massachusetts Department of Fire Services also on scene to help out as well. They just reminded that everything's under control as of this morning, but you might see smoke lingering around in the air.
There was a fire in North Kingstown too,
Another
as
one?
well. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just those extremely dry,
Yeah.
very windy. Don't flick your cigarette out the window, please. Just be super careful.
I mean, we had good. It wasn't real soaking rain overnight, but it rained lightly, at least for a few hours. So that's got to help.
Yeah, we definitely need it.
Sure. The fire was definitely put out in Bellingham. Overhaul work is underway, so they'll just be digging and raking and
Yeah.
all the fun stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Of making sure the fire doesn't just erupt again. Fires can do that, and they just poof, here we go.
Yep,
let's go
yep. That
explode
red
again.
flag warning was there for a reason.
Sure.
It was very, very windy and very, very dry.
So both Mass and in Rhode Island, leaders say state and city police will not support the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants that President-elect Donald Trump called for during his campaign. Both are saying that the police are not immigration people.
Yeah.
So we're not helping. McKee says state police are committed to prioritizing the investigation and prevention of violent crimes and will cooperate with the lawful detention of violent criminals, but are not immigration officers.
I agree. Our public safety officers have to be so many different things that they didn't sign up for. It's they have to intervene in domestic issues. They have to be almost like mental health professionals in some ways to add this on at a time where recruiting and retaining is extremely difficult. I just don't know how. I don't know how our police would be able to do that. Honestly, there's not enough of them. And
that's right.
There's so much going
not
on.
enough people power.
That's
as
yeah,
they say.
yeah,
There's just not
yeah. And
enough
not
to
enough
do all
people,
that.
not enough new recruits to replace the ones that are going to be retiring.
Yep.
It's already an issue.
All right, so when you go to law school, or if you go to law school, and your ultimate goal is to be a judge of any kind, you're probably not thinking that one of these kind of suits is going to come across your bench, and you're like this is, and I'm sure this is what the judge said. This is not why I went to law school, on this certain, and it happened in Rhode Island. And a Providence Superior Court, they're dismissing a complaint against the Rhode Island Interscholastic League over football playoff seeding. Which team should be number one and which team should be number two? And the judge has got to be sitting there. So you've got to be kidding. There's illegal immigrants to worry about, and there's arsonists and real trouble out there. And this is what I have to worry about? Who's 1 and 2 and 3? Are you kidding?
How did this get all the way up?
Well, let me tell you.
Yes, tell me, because I'm so confused
Well,
right now.
The complaint was filed last week by the Bristol Warren Regional School District on behalf of Mount Hope High School.
Okay.
They're the ones that are not happy. Mount Hope High football, okay? According to the complaint, Mount Hope was wrongfully seeded because Rhode Island's new RPI rating system misclassified an out-of-state opponent. And sometimes they play Mass, and even Cumberland played a team from New Hampshire, kind of thing. So, Mount Hope is now the number 5 seed in Division 3. They say they should be number 1.
So they took it all the way
It
to
went all the way to the
courts.
Superior Court.
Yeah.
And they said, figure it out on your own.
Right.
This is just
right,
ridiculous.
Right.
And-
Unfortunate. It's
Yeah. And I have to agree with the judge on this one. I'm sorry they misclassified an out-of-state opponent, but it's certainly not worthy of a lawsuit.
yeah.
You should be over here and over here. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't have a horse in this race. I don't know anyone that goes to Mount Hope High.
Nor do I.
And I'm sure the football players are not happy.
I'm sure they're devastated.
We
but...
are better than this, and so okay. And I don't know if does this mean they miss out on going to the playoffs? I don't know. It doesn't say that, but okay. You're not number one. Yeah, number 1 teams usually get a bye. They're gonna have to play like one extra game. But I just thought it was kind of silly that it went all the way to a Superior Court judge.
Probably not silly to them, but in the grand scheme of things,
Yes.
you know, unfortunately, sometimes these things happen, and the lesson here is that life isn't fair.
Exactly right. And bad things happen to good people.
Bad.
If I can use a good quote.
So use it as a character building lesson and move on.
And we move on. Okay.
Yep.
And if you got to play one extra game, okay.
Yeah.
Beat that team.
Yeah. And
then
maybe you
beat
won't,
the next
but you
team.
know what? If you played well and you know that you did your best, then you know there's honor in that.
That's right.
Right.
So keeping it down in Bristol, they're expecting delays if you're traveling on the Mount Hope Bridge. The Rhode Island Turnpike and Bridge Authority announced the inspections are going to take place this coming Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday between 9 and 3. Agency says one lane on the 2-lane bridge will be closed during the inspections. It's a narrow enough bridge as it is.
It really is. It is.
We can't fit too many.
I know
that will
they
be a
have to
pain
do.
going
I was like,
over.
why do they have to do it between 9 and 3? Well, because that's when it's light out. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
now it gets dark at like 4 o'clock.
So they say the DOT, they apologize for the inconvenience, but do we want to have safety or do we not want to have safety?
Yeah, right.
If we want
All things considered, I think the inspection is important.
yes, and if they find something like they found on the Washington Bridge, you don't want the things falling down. So,
Yeah.
Yes, and that means sitting in traffic, looking at you look at Roger Williams University. Isn't that nice over there? Yeah. It's a very nice campus.
Plan for extra time.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so keep that in mind in case you happen to be traveling down towards the Mount Hope area in Bristol this coming week. So the teachers are still on strike up in the North Shore, in north of Boston. Unionized teachers in Beverly, Gloucester, Marblehead. They'll be on the picket lines again. Teachers in Beverly, Gloucester walked off the job on Friday as they seek a new contract. Marblehead teachers voted over the weekend to join them. Schools are closed today because it's Veterans Day. Negotiations will continue in each of the school districts. The strikes are separate, but all three groups of teachers are seeking better pay, benefits, and working conditions.
So they went on strike on Friday. So was school out on Friday?
I would say so if they said they walked
Yeah.
off the job on Friday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking that there's a long weekend. There's maybe a little more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 4 days over the weekend, but who knows if they're actually going to get together today and discuss stuff because it is a holiday. If I were to make a guess, I would say schools will be closed in those towns tomorrow.
Most likely.
Unless something big happens today as well. They seem to be, there's a lot they want, the better pay, the benefits. I don't know how you create better working conditions in a school.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
want
what
the kids to be better behaved?
Who knows what they want specifically, but
you're right. It doesn't say.
hopefully they will negotiate in good faith, and that'll all be on the table, I guess.
I haven't heard of too many teachers going on strike in the middle of the school year. It's always at the beginning of the school year. When I was growing up, because that's when the contracts ran out.
Yeah, and we don't know what precipitated it. Like, what was the straw that broke the camel's back?
Yep.
Proverbial back, but
It doesn't say just yet. So, well, that's what's going up on the North Shore, up there in Boston, north of Boston. All right, we're going to take a final break here in the Coffee and Program, but more coming your way. And we ask you to please stay tuned to the Coffee and Program.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate. Henry's Heroes is doing it again. It's the Henry's Heroes car giveaway. New Englanders helping our veterans and Henry's Auto on Park Avenue, Woonsocket will be giving away 5 gently used and reconditioned cars. The event will take place Saturday, November 23rd at Henry's Auto, 1068 Park Avenue in Woonsocket, in partnership with Henry's Auto. NEHAV, that's New Englanders Helping Our Veterans, is happy to announce the free car raffle for veterans. If you have served our country in any branch of the military, current or retired, and a veteran in need, you are eligible for the car raffle. If you're a caregiver of a veteran, you can also submit an entry on behalf of that veteran. You must show a true need for the vehicle. Please apply only once by November 11th on the NEHAV website. That's New Englanders Helping Our Veterans, or NEHAV.org. Remember, apply to win one of these 5 cars from Henry's Heroes online only at NEHOV.org. Do it by Veterans Day, November 11th.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
It's Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray on Veterans Day. Dave Richards is getting ready for our broadcast of down at the UVC Park for today's Veterans Day celebration. That's going to be at 11 o'clock this morning.
Yep, it's going to clear up. Looks like it's going to clear up just in time for the ceremony.
I can see some faint blue
Yep,
through the clouds now, so that'll be good. We'll have it for you here on the radio, and we'll be streaming it on our website and on our social media as well. That all begins at 11 at UVC Park off of Davison Avenue. Well, there was a
And I will be there.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Looks like a little traffic delay down in Providence this morning. There was a truck rollover on 95 North.
Yikes.
And they had to call in the hazmat
Oh, boy.
team. Yeah. With injuries, too.
Oh,
so
no.
the Rhode Island DOT reported the crash about 5 o'clock this morning at exit 39B and 39C in Providence. I don't know what street that is.
I can't think of offhand, but I know it was raining. I think I woke up, and I don't know what time it is because I have that. I don't like to look at the clock because then it's hard for me to go back to sleep.
I think it's north of
But,
Providence going into
yeah.
Pawtucket. Okay.
I could hear the rain, and it's yep. We haven't had rain in a while, so I
Oh,
don't know.
no.
People were just like, "Oh no!" Or
The left lane was open, but it did cause traffic delays during the height of this crash. At around 7, the truck was uprighted, and another lane was opened. And DOT says the crash involved injuries and a hazmat situation, but did not go into details. So at about 8 this morning, DOT said the crash was cleared. The extent of the injuries was not immediately known. So they'll
that's
be
too bad.
still investigating that.
Yeah.
So just when they say the hazmat people, just been what spilled out?
What spilled?
What spilled? We got to know what happened there. All right, looking at the national stuff. I mentioned this to Melissa ahead of time. I said, "Have you heard about what's happened?" Because the big movie that's coming out is the Wizard of Oz sequel, if you want to call it that, is Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big play. It was a book. So, and that's going to be the thing for Christmas toys from this movie. So the toy company, not Hasbro, the toy company Mattel, they're in hot water due to the packaging of some of their new dolls. The company recently began making dolls for the upcoming movie Wicked, and on the back of the box included a link to the movie's website. It's one of those QR code things that you put on the back now.
Yep.
Except someone was not paying attention, either at Mattel or whoever manufactured the packaging.
Yeah, who designed the packaging?
So they said, well, yeah, we got to send this over to the right website, and the name of the movie is Wicked, so we'll send it over to wicked.com. It should have been wickedmovie.com, and that way you get to see all the right stuff. Because the website wicked.com is an adult film webpage. So Mattel released a statement over the weekend we apologize. Apologizing for the error, said they're working to remedy the situation, although I don't know how.
They're
if
going
they've
to
already
have to
been
buy
sent
that.
them out already.
Yeah.
The
Buy
line
that
of,
website.
The line of Wicked movie dolls are being sold at Target, Kohl's, Amazon. Doesn't say Walmart, but maybe they're there too. So if they've already been sent out and they're already on the shelves,
It's already out there.
Is word going to have to go out? Take them all down? And what do we do?
Boy.
Do we send them back? And we'll send you all new ones with the correct QR code? It's a mess.
It is a mess.
Is what it comes down to.
And, send them all back right before Christmas. So, like, the demand is going to be crazy. It's going to be like, all I can remember from, like, our childhoods, Cabbage Patch Kids and the Stampede at Child World. When my mom was, like, one of the original
Cabbage Patch?
Black Friday shoppers, right? Before all of that even started, my mom was one of those folks, like, she got me a Cabbage Patch doll, and I was so pleased. But yeah, no, I mean, like, this is desirable, right? So now is the packaging, like the original packaging, if you're going to save it, it's going to be like,
now it's going to be worth money.
Right? But also huge
so
faux pas.
It just makes you wonder who found out first. Was it a child?
A parent.
That and said, hey, Mom.
Hey, Mommy, look.
A 10-year-old goes,
I scanned the QR code.
I scanned the QR code, and what's this? And the parents go, horrified. Give me that kind of thing. Or was it someone at Mattel or someone at the packaging company just, doing a little QA, doing a little quality assurance, make sure everything works, and saying, oh, no. Do they all go to this site? And now we'll have to get in. We'll have to check with IT and say, you've all got the wrong website.
Proofreading.
Well,
proofreading.
Everything is spelled correctly.
Well, no. I mean, if I put out a newsletter, I always have somebody proof it because I have links and, make sure the links work as part of
Yeah. Well,
those folks are way too big to have made that mistake.
Guess what? The link works.
Yeah, the link works.
Works perfectly.
Not in the way that we had hoped.
A little too good, I guess.
Right, and like you said, there's a warning, like, are you over 18? Kid just presses yes.
Well, yes, I am. Well,
kids are very tech savvy, and they.
What don't you want me to see? Oh.
Oh dear.
Alrighty.
They're wicked sorry.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. They should have said that. They should have put that in the press release. We're wicked sorry. All right. Down in South Carolina, they had an issue at one of their zoos. An additional 24 monkeys have been recovered from in South Carolina after escaping a research. Sorry, it's not a zoo.
No, it's not a zoo. It's a research facility.
Yeah.
They were testing monkeys.
One monkey was found and recaptured on Saturday. The authorities caught another 24 on Sunday. Vets have examined all of the recovered animals and found they were all unharmed. Good news. Officials say most of the monkeys stayed near the research facility, and now they have their eyes on a sizable group in a nearby wooded area. How many in a sizable?
Wasn't it like 40 that
it might have been. Yeah.
That got, and this wasn't the first time that facility has had escapees. So, and what are they testing? And is it going to be? Well, I can't remember the name of that movie where there was the monkey and the little girl, and it was like it was epidemic or something like that. I can't. Someone could call in and tell us, but we don't have anybody on the phone. So,
now South Carolina police are emphasizing there is not a current threat to public health.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, not yet. Because there hasn't been any interaction between the humans and the monkeys. Not that I'm saying that the monkeys are sick or anything like that, but, this is how Planet of the Apes started. And that does not end well for us humans. It does make you wonder, what are they doing? What kind of monkeys are they? Because chimpanzees are terribly violent
They're not.
Monkeys.
They're not docile.
Those... Gorillas are docile.
Oh, God. Outbreak was the name of the movie.
Okay.
And Dustin Hoffman, and the monkey bites a girl, and then it's just
Gets
like
sick,
yeah, and there's a whole epidemic.
So they don't say what kind of monkeys we're talking here. Are they the little ones or?
They're the little ones, and
All
they're
right.
all young female monkeys.
That have
I
escaped?
did read another.
So, all right, then how
Article about
are they
this.
captured? Do they all have to be tranquilized? Are we shooting them all with darts?
No, they lure them with food because eventually they will come back because they know where the food is.
Okay, and we like put them in like little cages to trap them or nets. Okay, well, as long as
But,
we're not hurting them, I guess that's a good thing.
Yes, but apparently this has happened before.
See, now that's a problem.
Someone left the gate open,
If
and
it-
guess what? Monkeys, they have hands.
They have opposable thumbs, you know,
and they
just
watch
like
you
us.
and they learn, and they're like, oh, hey.
You know, okay, if it happened once, okay, I can understand. Okay, a mistake was made, or they figured it out. Let's do something to make sure. Let's put another padlock on there. Like you need a key to unlock the padlock. We can't be having this happen when a bunch of monkeys, like Melissa said, like 40 of them all get out. Of course, they're all going to run at the same time. Yeah, I get that, but it should not be. It should not be happening. All right.
Yeah.
All right. At the box office over the weekend, Venom: The Last Dance is at the top of the box office.
I know nothing about this movie.
I don't either. I think it's a guy in a black mask. He's kind of a superhero kind of thing. I think it's a Marvel thing. It's obviously a sequel,
Right.
Because it's The Last Dance. Anyway, after an underwhelming opening weekend, the film has been putting up solid numbers and added over $3 million on Friday. Major Hollywood studios avoided this post-election weekend, holding off on new releases.
Mm-hmm.
But A24, is that a new studio that I'm not aware of? A24's horror flick Heretic and Lionsgate seasonal play The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, I have seen ads for that movie, both look to land in the box office top 3 in their opening weekends. So
I haven't been to a movie in ages, honestly.
neither have I. Because unfortunately, if just for me, everything is turned into Venom. Everything's a superhero.
Yeah.
So and it's just not for me.
Yeah.
So the Supermans, the Batmans, the Spider-Mans, Venom,
All the incarnations.
Captain America. It's like
Yeah.
none of it do I have absolutely no interest in seeing any of them. And of course, I stay away from all the horror films as well, so I'm not going to that either. So there we go. The good news is the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree is being put up today in Midtown Manhattan.
Too early.
Came from
Too soon.
well, we got to put it up and make sure it
No, I
stands.
know, right.
We got to decorate it. And Thanksgiving's soon.
I know.
We got to ready for the flipping and we got to
You
practice
know,
flipping the switch.
I feel like I was gypped out of a summer, and I'm just like, I'm not there yet.
Well, that's because you ran
I
for
know.
office. All right, the 70-foot tall Norway spruce arrived on a flatbed truck early Saturday after making the 140-mile journey all the way from West Stockbridge, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
As Dave always wanted to know, he wanted to know how they were going to make the turns in Manhattan on a 74-foot tall spruce.
Oh my goodness,
Said,
right.
I don't know, Dave. The huge tree will be decorated with 50,000 lights that will be turned on during the annual tree lighting ceremony on December 4th. Oh, I thought it was after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, me too.
But, well, I'm sure they'll be having practice.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure all the lights flip. Does
Yeah,
it
make
work?
sure they all work.
Works for TV, so we can't say, oops. It's always one light bulb that doesn't work.
One light bulb out of
makes all the
50,000.
strength-
Which one is it?
The strand doesn't work, so. All right.
I'm sure they have those kinds of strands that, like, if there's one light out, it doesn't burn out the entire thing.
The man who voiced America Online's You've Got Mail,
Mm-hmm.
he passed away
Oh.
over the weekend. He was 74-year-old Elwood Edwards, passed away Tuesday in North Carolina. His daughter tells the New York Times Edwards died from complications from a stroke. In 1989, he was hired by Quantum Computer Services, which began AOL, to record several alerts for the online service, including You've Got Mail. The gig paid him $200. That's
Oh
it?
my God.
That's all he got for it? Wow.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? I think he got. I mean, they even made a movie out of that.
Yes,
Called
yes.
You've Got Mail.
Yeah.
So, all those
He
times-
did own that phrase for sure. Wow.
Wow. So here's
$200. Hope
know,
he
you-
invested it.
and here's something you think you're going to get away with something, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. A man has been fired from his job after he called out sick. And out in California. And why did he call it sick? He wanted to attend the Los Angeles Dodgers championship celebration parade.
Let me guess. His boss saw him
Spotted.
in the parade.
The man was given a letter of termination that stated he had been seen at the Dodgers World Series parade. The now former employee is accusing his boss of being a Yankees fan. Wow. And that is the root of the job action. Oh, he's gonna send in a trial here. And he's gonna assume the man posted his termination letter on Reddit, and the message has since gone viral.
Yeah.
I think
just take a personal day. You didn't have to say you were sick, right?
Paid time off, vacation day.
Yeah.
Something. And maybe he tried,
Right.
and they didn't grant it.
All I can
for
think of
whatever
is
reason.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's at the Chicago
I'm
Cubs
so
game,
sick.
catching the foul ball, and the principal not seeing him on TV. That's right. All right. Well, it's a gamble. If you're going to go to a championship parade, those things are all televised.
Of course.
And yes, you're in the masses of 10,000 people, maybe
But
more.
there's cameras,
There are cameras
everywhere.
and they might pick you up, especially if you're acting either extraordinarily exuberant. They say, "Oh, look at that person being funny," or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but is
So-
it worthy of termination?
Well, I don't think so. I mean,
Right. They were trying to prove a point.
I get it.
Yeah. I mean,
a day without pay is fine.
Yeah,
unless
yeah.
he's a lousy employee. I don't. We don't know the backstory on that.
We don't. We don't.
Maybe they were looking for a reason to get rid of this guy.
I'm sure
Maybe
he
he's
will
always
have.
calling in sick.
Yeah, right. But you know what? I know now he'll probably have more job offers because this happened.
Probably, especially from the Los Angeles Dodgers. All right, we'll take you in. All right, that'll do it for the program for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Thanks to Dan Gendron, who joined us earlier today, as well as Dave Richards, who joined us earlier today as well. Melissa, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. Happy Veterans Day, everyone, to those who served and the families of those who served.
Absolutely. Stay tuned. Coming up at 11, we will have the Veterans Day celebration from the UVC Park on Davison Avenue, live on the radio and streaming on our website and on our social media as well. We will have Leslie Page with At the Library and Food First with Karen Zangari. It's next on ON AM and FM.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And